trying to ask me to do it now, I can't because you're in the room with me with those cameras. I gotta do it on my own. I'm not that good. There are people who can shift like that with no problem. I cannot do it like that. I got to concentrate on something. I gotta do my meditation, if you want to call it that. And within a very short period of time, I can reach the 5th dimension. It needs to be the 5th. In the 10th level.
Gamma 10.
Gamma 10. It's the 5th dimension. But within the dimension, you have levels. Gamma is starting with the 5th dimension. That's what I have to do. Obviously, one day, all of us will reach not only the 5th, I think we can, in a short time. I believe the world is going to this direction right now. And don't be surprised if a lot of people, not only you, but a lot of people will be able to reach the 9th dimension. 9th dimension, that means, I'll just give you a small example. You can speak to spirits, meaning dead people. Souls from the past, you'll be able to talk to them. So if you want to speak to your grandmother or whoever, somebody, your cousin, somebody close to you who passed away, would be able to do that. And I'm not talking to you 100 years from now. I'm talking in a relative short time. I think it will happen. We're going there. Something has to shift in this world for this to happen, but that's how we get there. So back to me. I need to shift myself. Once I shift my brain frequency into the 5th dimension, I'm able to remember. I can concentrate only on one reincarnation at a time. Again, because I'm considered to be a rookie. People on a high level who can do much better than the 5th dimension, for example, Rabbi AA, who you speak about all the time. He can do it. He's on a totally different level. Totally different level.
And for, most people around the world that are interested in these topics, that are going down that rabbit hole of, past life regressions and things like that, how would we know what is an imagination versus what is real? Do you have any pointers on that?
What's the name of the doctor from Florida that does hypnosis? You remember his name? I don't remember his name right now.
Dr. Brian Weiss.
Okay, if you take Dr. Brian Weiss and you study his books, he has a lot of proof, and he documented a lot of it. He's basically taking a person who had a physical ailment, and through his past life regression, and being able to remember certain things, and understanding what happened in past lives, suddenly he's healing his physical ailment day. For me, that's proof. Another thing of proof of reincarnation, by the way, I think every religion believes in reincarnation. So I don't think you have to convince most people about the fact that reincarnation exists. I believe today, most people on the planet believe reincarnation is a real thing. So that's an easy sell. The memory part of it, that's an issue. But again, if you want to prove reincarnation to somebody, you take the subject. For example, let's take your sister. Okay, she's a normal human being. She lives here in the United States. You put her under hypnosis. The only language she can speak is English. She knows some Hebrew because of your parents. So she has 2 languages.
You gave this example already in a past interview of her being able to speak Chinese under regression, let's say.
Correct. So that's a good example. So if you take subject like that, you know exactly what she can do or not do because it's somebody you know very well. And suddenly she's speaking ancient Chinese where I have to bring a translator to translate what the hell she's talking about. That's a proof of reincarnation. And she's describing a past life 1,000 years ago in China, whatever, That's a proof of reincarnation. And there's a lot of documented cases like this. It's not a make-believe case I'm giving you. There's a lot of documented cases, especially children. I'm talking about young children, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, when they can barely talk. And they're sharing stories about reincarnation. When you go check the information, you find it's real. They give you names, dates, addresses. And when you go back to, there was a very famous story about a boy here in the United States that said he was a pilot in World War II. And he was Irish, I believe. And they went back, they found his family. They found his home. They found the address. He described how he died. He described the whole new thing. Now, you cannot say a 4-year-old is lying. You can't make this up, If it's an adult, you could always say something is lying. But when an adult is speaking a language that you know they cannot speak, you know that it's a real thing.
Fair. For the record, I agree with you. I have to ask these questions because we also want to reach the people that don't understand this. And that's why I wanted to set the foundation with reincarnation specifically, because a big part of this document has to do with reincarnation, your memories.
To make your life easier, a person who is not an atheist disagrees with you on these subjects. So that's something you're going to have a hard time with my opinion. An atheist, which I think it's a joke. Even the term atheist is a joke. But there are people who claim they're atheist. These are the only people who are going to tell you that you're full of shit. But you're not going to talk about them now. They're really lost souls in my book. So I'm not going to waste my energy on them.
So why don't we move on, officially into this document? We had a long conversation leading up to it, but let's dive into this document a little bit more. The Pyramid Code itself. We could start really wherever you want. Maybe we could start with the zoomed out picture. I can ask you a base question of what happened back then. From your memory, you claim you were there, you have those memories. There's a lot of different theories right now, all the way from extraterrestrial life to just human beings that moved stone with like water or something like that. Everybody has a different theory. What is your memory that you remember with in-depth detail? If you had to paint a big, clear picture of what happened back then in ancient Egypt, who built the pyramids, how they built the pyramids, why they built the pyramids. I know there's a lot of questions in one, but let's just start and go for it.
Let me summarize for you as best that I can do. I'll start with the fact that I was born in the year 1360 BC, which is really, according to the Hebrew calendar, which is what I usually go by, which is the year 2400. I was born on the first Hebrew month, on the first day of the Hebrew month. At a certain point, at the age of about 7 or 8, I was taken to, let's call it the palace where the pharaoh was, but not into the palace. Every palace had a shrine that had the high priest. I was born into a Hebrew family, which, as you call it, were the slaves at that time.